get there, didn't you? Hey, welcome to the Bristol Small Business Show. Today, I'm really excited. I've got Andrew Pitchford. He's with Excite Media, and I've known Andrew on and off for years and years and years, and I don't know how long, but it must be 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, absolutely. We continue to have these arguments about the shark and the storm, but with a renewed NRL season, go the Storm.
Well, you did beat us in round one, but I don't think people are here to talk football and nor the demise or the drug taking of Cronulla Sharks players. So we'll bypass all of that and we'll go straight into what's your web IQ. Your web IQ are really important. But what do you really mean when you talk about web IQ?
Isn't it funny? Over the years, we've learned things about IQ being intelligence, and it gives us a sense of where we fit in the world. And it's a way of kind of benchmarking ourselves, but it doesn't really mean that you've got the street smarts. And then we talked about EQ, getting that emotional quotient. How do you actually handle people in the real world? Well, Excite Media has developed its own program to be able to assess somebody's business online. How successful are they? How well are they doing their marketing? We call it Web IQ. Great way of looking at it from beginning to end. How successful are you, and where are the gaps that we can help?
So when I think about IQ, I think about those really unkind analytical people who came up with all the different terminology. And so I did a little bit of research before we came here. You know, when you did that little test at school when you're about 15 years old and maybe you got a report card after it. So basically, if it said under 70, the smart people who have no EQ, let me tell you, if it's under 70, they're saying you're feeble-minded. It's really unkind. It's really unkind. So basically then we get into borderline deficiency. We get into dullness. We improve to dullness, which is really average and normal intelligence is between 90 and 109, and 110 it's superior and whatever, right? So in thinking of that terms on and relating that over to web IQ, I think I'd be feeble-webbedness would be how they would describe me, I've got to say. I have so much I can learn on that sort of area.
The great thing about scores is that they actually open up opportunity. And that's purely what we're looking for. If a business is happy where they're going and doesn't want to grow, well, hey, why change anything? But if you recognize that there is an opportunity for growth and you've got something that you can benchmark yourself against, whether it's another business or statistics of best practice online, then let's use that score and then let's open the door to new business.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. A score is only as good as what you're going to use with it, right? So the only reason they keep scoring football games is so that we work out who wins at the end. When it comes to business, it's there to give you a measure about, hey, there's opportunity for me still to learn. So, I know that there's plenty of opportunity for me still to learn. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself and Excite Media and the background of the two, because I know that Excite Media has a really interesting story behind it.
It is fantastic. So I've been with the Excite Media team for 6 years, but they've been going for 14 years. So where did my background come from? I was involved in broadcasting for 20 years. But as part of that broadcasting background, I was also responsive because I was a charity broadcaster. I was involved in fundraising, I was involved in marketing, I was involved in communications. So a whole lot of those messaging and how you talk to the right people to get the right result was part of my history. And I used to go to broadcasting conferences teaching people about social media and how to get the most out of social media experiences. So loved the web, built my first website back in 95 when dial-up was expensive as hell. We're all grateful.
So hang on, 1995, the web kind of only came in existence the day before.
You're absolutely right. I was having arguments with people that had this thing called a bulletin board system. I don't know if you remember those. And bulletin board, all the ASCII characters.
I think my grandfather talked to me about bulletin boards.
Old stories around the campfire. And so out of doing websites like that, I've always had a journey of doing my own websites. Each of my 4 kids had an email address the moment they were born. It's a little bit disgusting, but that's the way it went. And then Excite Media, I had an opportunity to join them back in 2014. And it is a great story. Nathaniel Hubbard and Scott Maynard, actually school friends who went to university pursuing everything from their musicianship to engineering to marketing, and then forming the small software business. And then that very quickly grew into graphic design and web design out in the western suburbs, working out of Chapel Hill. And now they've grown into a great digital marketing agency, about 20, 25 staff. About half the staff work in projects and graphic design, and the other half work in getting clients to the websites, doing all the digital marketing. It's an amazing team.
Now, I'm not sure the gang at Chapel Hill are going to be excited to hear about you calling them the western suburbs, but let's not worry about that. Yeah, so these guys wanted to pursue a music career, and so they didn't want to have to go to a day job in an office, so that if they had a gig down in Melbourne, they could just drop everything and go to their gig, still look after their clients while they're on the road, because, hey, they had a mobile business. So awesome story with that. And I love the fact that you come from background in the media, where you were helping, craft advertising and the wording around that sort of stuff. So really, really good mix there. So when we're talking about, so let's come back to our Web IQ. It's how easily and effortlessly your business can attract and help other businesses online. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it's about getting right fit clients as well. Taking a very broad approach to marketing, where all you're interested in is attracting everybody all at the same time, it's not efficient for your business, it's not profitable, and it takes a lot of hard work to keep all the balls up in the air. So we're really interested in getting to know our clients' business, what customers are most profitable for them, and attracting those and converting them. And we look at it from beginning to end. The person who comes to you and says, I've got one great idea that will make your business profitable, is a big mistake. It's a tapestry of ideas that have to be put together well.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said there. And yet I was dumb enough to start this group called Brisbane Small Business.
Well, you've still got definition, haven't you? Thank goodness you said Brisbane and not Oceania. That would have been a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. But exciting days. We're heading towards 10,000 members, 6 years down the track, and all that sort of stuff. We've accomplished some truly amazing goals with the group, and I feel we're really just scratching the surface of what we can do here. So, in relation to that, we really want to help everyone in the group today. You've got a 5-point plan on helping people hone their focus, so that they can improve their IQ and get out of my feeble-minded state and help get into being a genius or almost genius state.
I think this is a really good time to start evaluating where your marketing is going. The whole situation we find ourselves in with COVID, some people are running 100 miles an hour, keeping going. Others are saying, actually, what am I doing in the second half? And this is kind of like going fishing. If you go fishing with nets and you find that the fish are slipping through the holes, then it's time to just drag the nets up on board and have a look at where the net needs to be repaired. And there's going to be a whole lot of different places that you could do that. So one of the things that we recognize is it doesn't matter whether it's social media, SEO, a website, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. These are all just tactics. They're just ideas. But before we start that, we've really got to work on who are we talking to. So we need to look at your market and your competition to know how competitive you are today. That's the first point.
So that's the absolute first point. It's one, pick a market. Now, if your business is really broad and you can serve a whole lot of different people, that's okay, but you might have 3 or 4 or 5 markets. But you need to decide on one market at a time, yeah?
Absolutely. And one example that's very relevant to Brisbane, I often talk about the trades industry. At the moment, there's a figure that they indicate there's about 3,000 plumbers in southeast Queensland. Now, if you want to have a bun fight with all of them to get on page 1 in the 10 listings that are there, you are up for the fight of your life. But if you then say, actually, I want to work within the Greenslopes area, and I only want to work in commercial or residential plumbing, you've narrowed it down, and now you can decide if you're going to be the small fish in the big pond or the big fish in the small pond, and I know which one's going to work best for you.
Which one?
That was the big fish in the small pond.
Okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that. So yeah, it's about identifying the market and then understanding the competition to see if you can win that battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And before you start a business, or even at some stages within your business, you've got to do a reassessment and find out who the players are in the market. And then you start to ask yourself, where do I compete? Do I compete on speed and efficiency? Do I compete on price? Do I compete because I've got a unique way of doing things that nobody else does?
And this is all in that first level, that assessment of the market and competition. Yeah. Once you've worked these things out, where do we need to go?
Well, I think sometimes when we first start a small business, we say, I want all the customers and I want them now. But as we start to mature, we recognize that that is going to just keep us pulling our hair out. You could end up like this, or you've got to actually start thinking, which customers did I make the most money out of and which were the easiest to sell to? So now you're talking about that ideal customer. An example that we use is that when a lot of trades start off, they say, I want residential and I want commercial. Super broad. You've just said everybody. But what if you started to say, I only want to deal with body corporate managers who work in high-rise apartments within 5Ks of the CBD? Now you've narrowed it down. And if you portray yourself as an expert in that space, you're probably going to find your ability to sell people is quicker, your trust is quicker, your referral is more guaranteed, and I bet you're more profitable.
Marty Isaac's just been a little bit rude and said I got a good bit of Donald Trump going on. Look, I've got to say, it's not that bad, Marty. Now, I was looking at it earlier going, it is a bit of a weird hair day too. But let's not worry about my hairstyle. Let's worry about your ideal customer, how you're going to identify them. So what's the most important thing about understanding your ideal customer?
I think having an understanding of your own sales process is important. If you know that particular customers take longer to convince, longer to make a decision, more of an investment in your time in closing the deal, then you actually may find that you're actually wasting money and becoming less profitable when they do sign up. So if you can find a customer that loves you quicker, spends more money, and that may mean deciding on whether they buy your most profitable product or they buy the product that you sell the most of. So there's repeat transactions. They're always coming back for more. That's probably going to be a couple of tick boxes that are going to help you choose the ideal customer for yourself.
Fantastic. And I'll catch up with you later on about that sponsorship deal, Marty. Now, so understanding your ideal customers, finding out how you can mine the relationship that you have for the most profitable outcome.
And I guess that means you've got to understand your own business. As often when I sit down with a client and ask them, what is your most profitable product or service? Or which product do you sell the most of? That if we could sell 1,000 more of those, you'd be having that beach in the Bahamas. And most often I find that the business owner isn't able to answer that question. So now's the time to start asking, where's the profit? Where's the volume? So that somebody can help you sell more of them.
Excellent. And once you've got that and you've understood that about your customers, we come to our third point.
The USP.
That's it.
It's like air conditioning. Every home should have one. So a USP or unique selling proposition is going to make you stand out from the market. I was talking to one of the top copywriters in Australia recently, and he was talking about the accounting area where every accountant wants to differentiate itself from the others. But he said most of the accountants say, we're not just numbers people, we're interested in your business. But funnily enough, he said, now they're all saying the same thing, so they've all become the same again. So somebody needs to come up with a unique USP that makes them stand out again. I talk about it in terms of you want to differentiate yourself from the cluttered market, but more importantly, you're looking for memorability. You want people to remember you because if we can get that happening, people are going to refer you and they're going to come back to you.
People remember you because, with a caveat that it needs to be a good because.
I certainly think that's part of it because as you rightly say, you may think that you don't have a brand, but you are the brand of your business. And if your brand is bad customer service or bad Google reviews, certainly that can be just as memorable. So let's work on the positives and get that web IQ going up.
So your USP is really what you're going to be famous for.
I like that. That's really good. Yeah, in essence, what will you become renowned for? What will people remember about you, your business, your products? What are you famous for? That's great.
Yeah. So what people are saying after you've left. So great. So after we've identified our market, we've done our competitor analysis, we've identified who our ideal customer is and how we help them most and what we're famous for. What's the fourth point?
Really important that you actually know why you're doing all this activity. What is your online goal? So many people just say, well, I just want more money in the bank account. Yeah, but how do we get money in the bank account? And I think generally these are going to fall into three different categories. The real estate game, the non-profit game, they will tell you it's about names, names, names. So it's just about being able to get a broader bunch of people that they can have a conversation with. For other people, it's going to be about getting products or services sold in one-off transactions. And for other people, it's going to be about leads that are interested in getting a consultation right now because they need a personalized approach and need to be guided through what you can do for them. They're quite different. The names could be a very long-term relationship. It's all about nurturing, and we're just capturing the names, and then we're going to introduce them to our business or our charity and keep walking it through. The leads need to talk to somebody now who knows what they're talking about. And the person who wants to buy, please make it easy. Don't make me jump hurdles. Help me buy what you're selling.
I like that. Names, leads, buyers. Love that. I think that's really good. And understanding the online transactions. So, when I think about that, I think, so is your ultimate online transaction, you want someone to push a button and go straight to a checkout and spend money with you? Do you want to have them book an appointment? Do you want them to give you their email address so that you can follow them up? When you know what you want from them, then you can start putting the right tools in place to create that.
And isn't it important that if you and I are going to be doing a deal of any description, I've got to be sensitive to what you're prepared to give me at the moment. But as we get to know each other, work with each other, you may give me more, you may buy more from me. So we can't ask for everything at once. And I think too many people with their forms, with their buying processes, expect everybody to fill in 25 fields of information that actually have nothing to do with your Visa and your CSVC number. Really, if you could just give me 4 pieces of information and close a sale, you'd get there. Yeah. And along the way, it's really important that you continue to visually present trust factors that people will keep going through the buying process. We did some research on a client's website that was involved in women's shoes. And you can imagine for any woman, she wants to know that the color of the photo is going to be the color of the shoes that turn up. The size of the shoes is going to work. So what would actually make me drop out of that buying process before I press take my money, take my money? And often it's about delivery. Would I be able to send this back if I'm not satisfied? Wow, they say that I can send it up to 30 days. Fantastic. If the color's not right, am I able to send it back? Yes, you can. If the size isn't right, can I send it back? Yes, I can. We dealt with another woman's fashion industry where they said, we'll send you 2 sizes. Send back the one that you don't like or doesn't fit. So all of those trust factors in the process mean that you close more sales. Don't lose sight of that. A missed opportunity is less profitable than one that cost you a little bit more in terms of your offer.
That could work really well with puppy dogs too. Look, I'll just send you 2. You send me back the one you don't like.
Or the one that the kids don't like. I think you and I should go into business. We've got an idea here.
Absolutely. I think pet stores have been doing it for years, though, already. I think they're a step ahead of us. Oh, look, just take it home for the weekend. Bring it back on Monday if you don't like it.
Smart.
Right. Then there's one last point. So we've gone through, we've identified our market, we've worked out who our competition are and those that we can compete with. We've then decided our ideal client and what's going to work best for them, worked out our USP and what we can be famous for in their eyes. We've understood how far they want to take an online relationship before they actually do business with us. And then we've
got to put it together. This is like we've opened a restaurant. We've just identified what kind of restaurant, where it's going to be located, what food we're going to serve, what the ambience is like. We've got all that sorted out. Now we need the ingredients to make this meal. And I think it's really important that if you're a top quality restaurant, you've got top quality ingredients, because some of your clients are going to know that that's not Wagyu beef after all. So when we're putting things together, great digital assets that convert. We look for some really key pieces of information, whether we're building a website or building a landing page. But I also tell people that even the journey of a known brand actually begins with search. An introduction to your business actually happens when I Google you, even if I know the name of your business. And the sales pitch that you offer me in the Google search result is actually going to define whether I click through and see your website in the first place or not. And then another key thing that we're starting to learn is that traffic to homepages is actually declining. So people are actually starting their introduction to a business less on the homepage and more coming through the side door. Pretend you're an electrical firm, an electrician, and I'm Googling electricians in Holland Park. Well, in the old days, I might have just come through to the homepage, but what if I Googled LED light installers in Holland Park? And Google took me to your LED light page on your website. Tell me what kind of introduction that is to your business. Did it confirm that you're quality? Did it confirm that you're in the right location? Did it confirm that I should inquire? So we can't lose sight that it's almost like a food court, that people are coming through the side doors of your website as well, and they need to be just as good. So we've got to get the tools all right.
Absolutely. Look, all Google want to do is have people have great experiences. Okay. I still think it's funny that people are more prepared to give Google information than the Australian government. We'll get past that in a heartbeat. We'll then move into So that's why Google is collecting so much information on us, so that it can help us have a better experience at the end of the day. But with that, that'll take us to places where we want to go. And that's Absolutely. Why we end up through those side doors rather than going in through the front door.
And really, it just means that, again, holistically, do you have consistent messaging on every page, whether it's a landing page, your Facebook page, and even your TikTok page? Are you consistent in your brand? Do people understand you everywhere they look? It's like anything. If I'm two-faced in my relationship with you, you start to lose trust in me. Your brand has to be the same.
Absolutely. Look, I love what you've said there. I really do. Hey, you've helped me lift my marketing IQ just in this conversation. I think I'm at least up to dull now. So
well on our way.
Look, it's one of those things. The more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And that's absolutely wonderful. I've really enjoyed having our chat today. And thanks very much, Andrew, for coming on, helping people understand it. Now, you've got a download that's going to help people assess their front page. And you do
really interesting.
And you guys give them video feedback, which is really interesting.
Well, one of the most viewed videos at the moment on YouTube is reaction videos. So you've got reaction videos for kids watching TV shows from the 80s and 90s, reaction videos for people watching bad 80s music videos, all that kind of thing. What we'd like to do for you is a reaction video on the homepage of your website. So if you go to
it's kind of like Gogglebox for your homepage.
Oh, now you're getting me scary, because I don't want to be the guy on the couch that's the Gogglebox critic. But give me a bowl of popcorn or maybe it's salt and vinegar chips, I might do it.
I've never actually watched an episode of Gogglebox, although I do think that Melissa Mahoney Broncos game would be fantastic Gogglebox viewing, I've got to say.
You and me in a watch party.
It would be fantastic. Look, thanks very much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you want to find out a little bit, if you want to get a great assessment from some really knowledgeable guys on your homepage and how you could improve that, the guys at Excite Media, Andrew's going to put a link in the commentary here, and I'll tell you all the different here's where here is, Andrew, to help you with that. This video will also go up onto the Brisbane Small Business website so people can find it in future times, and we're going to teach Andrew to share it into the group every now and again. So thanks very much for watching. Marty, thanks for your commentary throughout. Look, one day we'll get more people commenting just like Marty does. I really appreciate it. And yeah, go Sharkies for the weekend. Good luck with that. Look, it's a season that started just like every other. We lose the first 2 games, we lose a player, you know, it's there for normal. But today, what's most important is raising your web IQ. Thanks very much for your support, Andrew. I really do appreciate it.
Brilliant, Kevin. Thanks very much.